Okay, Elizabeth, on a previous show, we did stories from the office.
Yes.
So let's do that again. You know, it's crazy because you and I have been at it for more than 30 years in the financial services business. We have worked with thousands of families. We have met so many people. We've seen a lot of wonderful, happy events. We've seen some sorrow as well. So let's talk about another story. Let's talk about something that can really help our listeners.
So I remember it was tax season, and it was really important. Of course, tax season is always important, so let's just put it that way.
Right.
So I received a phone call saying, I want to come and talk to you. It's a client of ours. I'm going to just call him Ed.
Okay.
So Ed said, hey, listen, I want to come talk to you about my taxes. And I said, well, did you send in your taxes? Yeah, but I have some questions. So I said, okay, come on in. So Ed came in, and I wasn't even aware that Ed had a healthcare person taking care of him.
Right.
So I went ahead and got Ed in my office, sat down, and he said to me, I'm not here to talk to you about my taxes. I am having a problem with my healthcare person. They are trying to hurt my wife and myself. And I thought,
I remember that. Oh my gosh.
I thought to myself, Ed, what are you saying to me? He goes, she's right outside. And she drove him to the office. And he said, you have to keep your voice down. I want you and Steve to come into my house tomorrow morning, 6:30 in the morning. And I said, Ed, why don't you stay here? Let me call the police. He goes, no, my wife is back there. She will hurt my wife. And I thought to myself,
He was petrified,
I was so scared.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to myself, and really being frightened for this client, I said to him, he goes, no, listen, you have to come tomorrow at 6:30 in the morning because she gets there at 7 o'clock. So I thought to myself, wow, something is wrong because, and then this lady opens the door and said to me, what are you guys talking about? And I go, taxes. He's here to talk about taxes.
This is a private consultation. You can't come in, right?
Right. And again, I'm sorry, but it's
Yeah.
taxes. It's private, so you cannot be here. She goes, well, I'm going to stand right up by the door and listen. And I goes, I'm sorry, we're done anyway. So the client left with this lady, and of course, Steve and I talked about it.
Right.
And Steve said to me, what time we have to wake up in the morning?
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
And I said, well, we have to get there very early because Ed really needs us and his wife. So Steve and I did our morning stuff, and we got there 6:30. I could see Ed opening the blinds, looking, waiting to make sure we're there.
Right.
And as soon as we got there, he was like, come here, sit down, take anything you want. And we're like, no, Ed, what's going on? He told us that this person, this healthcare person, took him and his wife to an attorney, and they wanted them to actually sign a bunch of papers in Newport Richey. And the attorney said, well, there's just some changes in the trust, and we just need you to sign it. And it's important you sign it. So the attorney kind of swayed him, and he signed all the paperwork, did a new trust, put in the healthcare person in charge of all of the inheritance, including the condo.
Wow.
So
I remember.
I asked him to please give me the documents so we can review it with our attorney, because we're not attorneys. So the client gave me his big binder, all his estate planning information. I opened it and looked, and the first thing I saw was who everything was going to. So I said, Ed, let me just do this. I need to get back to the office. He goes, I want you out first because she's going to be here real soon. But I want you to take my statues, take anything in the house you want, because you need to have something.
Because he felt everything was going to go, and he had no control of his estate. He had no control of his wealth for his family because his documents were manipulated, they were changed, and she was counting on the fact that he couldn't really read, he wasn't aware of it, but he was aware.
He was very aware.
This type of situation we have seen so many times over the years, sadly. So it's so important that people get with their advisors and review your documents every year if you feel that's appropriate. We always tell clients every 3 years or so we should be reviewing your documents and making sure they're correct.
So we took the documents to our office. We called the attorney up, our attorney. He reviewed the documents and, of course, filed a complaint. Steve and I had to go to court to just make sure we say on behalf to our client what actually happened.
Right.
And of course, they arrested the person who was doing the wrong thing. So our goal here is to always help our client, even though our client is really, they had estate planning done with the firm, but
Right.
somebody else manipulated that estate planning document and actually created another document. But thank God our client was strong enough to say, I know someone who can help me, and that's the Hollands.
And he had the courage. He had the courage to reach out and correct a very, very big mistake. You know, the estate planning attorney that we've been working with, it's been more than 25 years. And he has built revocable trusts and irrevocable trusts for thousands of families as well. And what about you? What about your documents? What about your estate plan? What about your retirement income plan? What about your tax plan? You see, here at the Holland Group, that's exactly what we do, and we do that for you. You're going to retire one time in your lifetime. We retire about 5 times every week.
And we should.
At
because
least.
that's what we do, helping families just like you.
That's right. If you'd like to find out more, please give us a call or go directly to our website.
You're watching Retirement Success with Steve and Elizabeth Holland.